the purpose of collecting the scattered mind and settling it down, stilling it, concentrating it. And of course, in Buddhism, the purpose of concentration is to serve as a basis for insight. And the way Buddhanussati, recollection of the Buddha, operates is that when we are taking as the object the Buddha, then we're taking a person who has completely obliterated all of the defilements, who is completely purified in mind, and who has brought to fulfillment the excellent qualities of wisdom and compassion. And so as we go through the 9 qualities, we are fixing the mind on something which gives, I would call it, a inner spiritual nourishment, which nourishes the seed of saddha, faith, trust, and devotion, and thereby gives rise to joy. And as that joy intensifies, then it can lead gradually in stages to a tranquil mind, a collected mind, a mind which is suffused with light, with bliss, and eventually, if it's practiced in a sustained manner over a longer time, it will lead to a state of concentration, deep concentration. Okay, so far we've sort of gone over the 9 Buddha gunas. And now, in this session, we're going to start narrowing down the number of qualities that we focus on. As I said this morning, usually one would do the 9 qualities over an extended period, over many days or weeks, until one gets a very clear perception of the flavor, the distinct flavor of each quality. But since we have just one day here, so we're going to rather abruptly start narrowing down. So of the 9 qualities that I went over this morning, we're going to narrow down to 3 qualities, or 3 designations for the Buddha. Usually one would choose these on one's own, but I want to do this as a group, so I'll take the liberty, the license of choosing the 3. So the 3 that I'll choose will be Arahang, Sama Sambuddho, Bhagava, because those are the 3 that we always use in the salutation to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. So those are the 3 of the 9 designations. Those are the 3 primary ones. Okay, so I don't have to explain them again because we went over them this morning. So what we're going to do in this session, we'll make this session about 30 minutes. The first few minutes I'm going to go over verbally myself as a guided meditation to go through the 3 qualities in several cycles. Then I will stop going through them verbally, and you just pick up and do it purely mentally. Turn over each quality, usually do like a minute or 2 for each quality, then pass on to the next one. If the mind drifts and you lose track, what quality was I on? Then go back to the beginning with Arahang, then Sama Sambuddho, Bhagava. Arahang, if you prefer the English, see, it's hard to translate. Okay, call it the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one, the blessed one. Okay, so take the comfortable sitting position. Again, the back should be straight, not stiff or rigid. Hand should be placed on the lap, right hand over the left hand, thumbs lightly touching, nose perpendicular to the navel, mouth closed, eyes closed, head held as if staring straight out, then tilted down a slight angle. Okay, now bring the image of the Buddha to mind. You could choose any favorite image of the Buddha that you might have, or you could select the image here, the Buddha Rupa at the head of the Vihara, and just hold that image in your mind's eye and appreciate the peacefulness, the gentleness, the serenity of the image. And then call the Buddha to mind first as Arahant, the Arahat, the worthy one, the one who is fully purified. So you could say that Arahant represents the purity of the Buddha, the utter purity of his mind. To keep the mind on the quality, you can just keep on repeating the word over and over. But don't repeat it mechanically, but use that designation, Arahant, to bring to mind the Buddha as the one who's purified of all defilements and liberated from the cycle of birth, aging, and death. down to Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one, the one who is penetrated, realized, comprehended the Dhamma in all of its multiple aspects, implications, all the dimensions of the Dhamma, fully comprehended by the Buddha. So Samma Sambuddho, perfectly enlightened one, we can say that represents the wisdom aspect of the Buddha. Again, you can mentally repeat that designation and projecting onto your mental image of the Buddha that quality of perfect wisdom that has been accomplished by the Buddha. Okay, next bring to mind the quality of Bhagava. We translate as the Blessed One, but it means that the Buddha is one who has brought all excellent qualities to fulfillment, and so he can serve as a source of blessings for the world. We might see this as representing the great compassion of the Buddha. And so bring to mind the Buddha as Bhagava, the Blessed One, who is the source of blessings for the world. We now come back to Buddha as Arahant, the worthy one, the purified one. And bring the Buddha to mind as Samma Sambuddho, the perfectly enlightened one, the Buddha as the embodiment or expression of perfect wisdom. Then bring the Buddha to mind as Bhagava, the Blessed One, the one who has fulfilled all excellent qualities, and therefore becomes a source of blessings for the world. And see the Buddha here as the embodiment or expression of great compassion. And now continue on your own, turning those three designations over and over in your mind. Arahang Sama Sambuddho Bhagava, or the worthy one, the perfectly enlightened one, the blessed one. You dwell for a minute or two on each one, then pass on to the next one, revolving them in a cycle. If wandering thoughts arise and you lose track of the quality you're focusing on, just go back to the beginning with Arahang and continue to the next and then to the next. So continue now with silent meditation until the gong strikes. This will be about 15 minutes. Okay, come back to your breath. Just follow a few cycles of in and out breathing. And then you can slowly open your eyes. Does anybody have any questions about these instructions? Yeah.
I thought the Buddha has 10 qualities, but you combine one, the Anuttaro Purusa.
The what?
I thought that the qualities of the Buddha have 10,
Yeah.
but you list only 9, you combine Purusa, Anuttaro Purusa.
Oh, I see. Yeah, somebody brought that question up in the morning.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay, Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati. Yeah, some people explain this as two separate qualities, Anuttaro, supreme, and then Purisa Dhammasarati as a separate one, the trainer of persons to be tamed. But there are some other suttas which use that expression alone, not as part of the 9 qualities, but they speak about the Buddha as Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati. So that indicates to me that Anuttaro is an adjective describing Purisa Dhammasarati, not that Anuttaro is a separate quality. Okay, then we'll do another round of the walking meditation, and then after that, then we have a tea break. So I hope it's not too demanding to walk down that hill and walk up. Does anybody find it difficult?
It's a good change.
What?
It's a good change from sitting.
Yeah, it's a good change, I see. Yeah, if you find it difficult to walk down and up, I think by now it's cooling, a little cooler, and we'll try to walk a little quickly to get out of the sun into the shade.